Lawmakers set a precedent for school employee organizations that want to defy state law. They continue fueling the fire between traditional public schools and charter schools, and the attack on your pension stalls in one committee. Those are some of the headlines topping Week 7 of the FEA Frontline Video Report. Hello, I'm Andy Ford, President of the Florida Education Association. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, does that make it a turkey? A dues-collecting education association that doesn't want to be called a union has won the support of lawmakers who say the Professional Educators Network doesn't have to follow the rules. Senator Wise and Representative Brandis have both sponsored bills that exempt the pseudo-union, also known as PEN, from state guidelines governing public employee unions. A party line vote advanced the proposals in both of the Senate and House Education Committees. The measures defy a state Public Employee Relations Commission, also referred to as PERC, ruling that had determined Penn was acting as a professional teachers association and a labor union. The ruling requires Penn to register as a union and follow the rules set in Chapter 447 of the Florida statutes. Two similar amendments in both chambers would have allowed Penn to provide professional development and staff development, but both were defeated.
But if Penn or anybody else chooses to act like a labor union, chooses to represent people in grievances and contract disputes and all of those things, all we're saying is they ought to continue to register and report so we know who they are, when they're coming into school, and subject themselves to the processes that 447 has.
Why don't we just call it like it is, an attack on another union of the workers of our state? That you're trampling on union rights. You know, you're doing things that are inconceivable. You're trying to destroy things that took years and years to almost 100 years to attain.
Penn representatives claim they don't want to represent teachers, but do want access to payroll deduction and teacher mailboxes. This week, Governor Rick Scott and Education Commissioner Gerald Robinson joined Republican lawmakers for a rally in support of charter schools. Lawmakers are backing a slew of bills to expand charter and virtual schools. Both are publicly funded, but would be privately managed and operated. They pushed through the passage of two bills which would allow highly rated charter schools to expand by adding 3 new charter schools each year. Unlike the House measure, the Senate version calls for the full funding of charter and virtual schools by draining public school capital outlay dollars. Democratic supporters urged their respective committees to fully fund public schools and find money without pitting charter school parents and students against traditional public schools. Both bills have one more committee stop in each chamber before making it to the floor for final votes. University students will have to dig a lot deeper to attend Florida State University and the University of Florida. The state's top research universities are looking at tuition hikes that could spike as high as 20 to 30%. Lawmakers are pushing ahead with a plan that would allow both universities to raise tuition rates above the current 15% limit set in state law. And if the proposal passes, any other state university that meets the guidelines would also be able to seek a tuition increase. University presidents say the measure would allow their institutions to raise the money needed for research and boost their national profile.
But the goal, as mentioned, is ultimately to get the major research universities to the national average. Now, it still remains for the trustees of those institutions and for the Board of Governors and, of course, for the legislature to decide how much they can raise it to attain those goals.
The House budget currently includes an 8% tuition increase for all 11 public universities. The Senate budget cuts state funding to universities by $400 million, but allows them to increase tuition by a full 15%. Governor Scott has expressed his opposition to tuition hikes. We want to thank you for responding to the alert to ward off the attack on your pension. Your efforts have helped to temporarily derail a proposed bill that would have grabbed another portion of your hard-earned salary. FEA lobbyists worked with police officers, firefighters, and Senate Committee Chair Jeremy Ring to amend the bill. The change would force lawmakers to look in other areas to fund the Florida retirement system. The current proposal would have destabilized the state pension plan. The well-intentioned bill would have restored changes from last year that reduced the retirement age and years of service for police officers and firefighters. The FRS overhaul would have also called for all state workers to pay for the changes. It required teachers, school employees, and other state employees to remain in the system longer before they could become fully vested in their pension plan. Despite the Senate changes, the House sponsor, Representative Workman, says he has enough votes on the House floor and will push to make his retirement bill law. As we near the end of session, it becomes more important than ever to stay on top of the issues that are important to all of us. That's why we continue to urge you to check out feaweb.org for the latest information on the legislative session. Also, sign up for FEA's Take Action alerts. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook for real-time alerts. But before we leave, please take a careful look at the FEA Bill Watch list. These are important proposals that we must continue to monitor throughout the legislative session. Make sure to stay up to date with the FEA Frontline Video Report. We'll see you again next week.